reality shows, which is what I'm going to call them in this book, no matter how hard anyone tried to swat them away. Still, if my friend had been wrong about a few things, so was I. 2 decades earlier, I had glibly assumed that reality formats were a modern phenomenon, as much a symptom of technological change as an artistic genre, an internet-y, turn-of-the-millennium digital culture thing, having emerged right as the web blinked into existence and cameras burrowed into cell phones. When everything we did was recorded, a wave of narcissism had naturally started to rise. If reality television had any kind of history, I figured, it probably dated back to around 1992, when The Real World debuted on MTV. In fact, as I discovered when I began to dig deeper, reality programming wasn't all that new. And neither was the moral outrage that inevitably accompanied it, like a clap of thunder after a bolt of lightning. Both phenomena went back more than 7 decades to the mid-1940s, shortly after World War II, in the age of radio. And as each new storm of reality experimentation emerged, starting with the jaw-dropping phenomenon of Candid Camera, which began as a radio show called Candid Microphone, the same thing happened. Critics dismissed these programs as a fad. They were cruel carnivals, which traded in humiliation. They were dumb spectacles, made on the cheap. They were shoddy imitators of better types of art. Less sophisticated than cinema verite documentary, shallower than fiction, too crass to have any lasting value. Reality shows were strikebreakers, too. The slimy beneficiaries of anti-labor tactics, funded by executives who didn't want to pay writers and actors. Reality programming might get attention, and for a while, high ratings, but it would never last. To audiences, however, these programs had always had an obvious allure. They offered something authentic, buried inside something fake. They stripped away the barrier between the star and the viewer. More than any other cultural product, they functioned as a mirror of the people who watched them. And if that reflection was sometimes cruel, it was also funny, riveting, outrageous, and affecting, even if, maybe especially if, you found it disturbing. It's hard to nail down one clear definition for reality programming, but in this book, I conceive of the genre as dirty documentary. It's cinema verite filmmaking that has been cut with commercial contaminants, like a street drug, in order to slash the price and intensify the effect. Reality programs are shows that merge documentary techniques with some more rigid, easily repeatable approach to storytelling, like the game show or the soap opera, the talent contest or the sports competition. Old-school episodic structures that were native to serialized radio and television. Cast real people, in other words, then put a tight frame around them, and squeeze. Sometimes the early reality shows were earnest social experiments designed to explore human nature. Other times, they were tawdry cash grabs. But mostly, they were a bit of both. Their low cultural status was inseparable from the warning label slapped on the product. Or, as critic James Poniwazek once put it wryly, reality TV is nonfiction television of which I personally disapprove. Even at their coarsest, though, reality shows offered up a powerful glimpse of human vulnerability, breaking taboos about what you were allowed to say or see. The gamblers who placed their bets on the reality genre were, from the start, an intrepid crew. They were rogue documentarians and amateur sociologists, gleeful manipulators and shameless voyeurs, piratical entrepreneurs who kept a sharp eye on the bottom line. They were mostly, but not all, white men, something that was true of the majority of the people who had the power to produce television until recently. Some of them, like Gong Show host Chuck Barris and Fox impresario Mike Darnell, were distinguished by their P.T. Barnum-like enthusiasm, a gift for humbug, Barnum for bullshit, and a warm, seductive salesmanship. Others, like Candid Camera creator Alan Funt, had a Warholian coldness, a craving to observe and control. A few women, particularly real-world co-creator Mary Ellis Boonem and the Prada-wearing trickster Lisa Levinson, helped shape crucial elements of the genre. And a striking slice, from the 1990s onward, were gay men, like real-world co-creator John Murray, who had a deep understanding of behavior as performance. Whatever their motive.